Okay, for the recording, welcome back. We are ACI Course 8, Class 10. It's June 2nd, 2025. Let's gather our minds here as we usually do. Please bring your attention to your breath until you hear from me again. Now bring to mind that being who for you is a manifestation of ultimate love, ultimate compassion, ultimate wisdom, and see them there with you, gazing at you with their unconditional love for you, smiling at you with their holy great compassion, their wisdom radiating from them, that beautiful golden glow encompassing you in its light. And then we hear them say, bring to mind someone you know who's hurting in some way. Mm. Feel how much you would like to be able to help them. Recognize that the worldly ways we try fall short. How wonderful it will be when we can also help them in some deep and ultimate way, a way through which they will go on to stop their distress forever. Deep down, we know this is possible. Learning about karma and emptiness, we glimpse how it's possible. And so we can grow our wish into a longing and into an intention. Then we turn our minds back to our precious holy being We know that they know what we need to know, what we need to learn yet, what we need to do yet to become one who can help this other in this deep and ultimate way. And so we ask them, please, please teach us that. And they're so happy that we've asked. Of course, they agree. Our gratitude arises. We want to offer them something exquisite. And so we think of the perfect world they are teaching us how to create. We imagine we can hold it in our hands and we offer it to them, following it with our promise to practice what they teach us, using our refuge prayer to make our promise. Here is the great earth, filled with fragrant incense and covered with the blanket of flowers. The great mountain, 4 lands, wearing the jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may we reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may we reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may all beings reach their total awakening for the benefit of every single other. I keep getting my internet's unstable signs, so sorry. I don't know what to do that. I'm hooked directly in, so it means it's the system. Rejoice in our good communication that we've ever done. Okay, hang on just a sec.
I listened to you perfectly, dear Lava, but your voice was different, as if you were speaking so fast.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why I even turned and looked at you and go, that's not her.
I admit I was distracted, but I didn't think I was flying. Okay. So last class, we were studying Jetson Kappa's teaching on impermanence, which sounded a lot like the death meditation practice, which it was, of course, because the point of the lum of realizing impermanence is to realize our own personal impermanence, meaning this lifetime's impermanence, because technically your subject side, your mind, is not impermanent, is it? In fact, your mind is forever. The thing is, it's never the same 2 moments in a row, but it's never not subject side state of mind. And then that subject side state of mind's nature is that it has no self nature. which is its emptiness, and that emptiness of our own mind, right? It is already. And that's the emptiness through which we will become fully enlightened beings. That's why we can become that. So, yes, we need to realize me, this life, this body, right? And all this stuff that goes along with it. From this immediate moment, me and my world, out to the furthest reaches of universe. It's all unique to this one, unique to those ones. So to learn about impermanence is to learn about our own personal impermanence. And then rather than getting scared of that, we get motivated to transform our perception of what's me and my world. So he taught us that there were problems if we don't study, practice, realize our death awareness. And he taught us that there are benefits if we do cultivate this death awareness. And he taught us what death awareness is not and what it is. And he taught us, is teaching us how to do it. So last class, we talked about the first of the three principles. So in how to do it, he gives us the three principles of the realization of one's own impermanence. And each of those three principles has three things to consider to prove it to yourself, to show it to yourself. So the three principles, the words are death is certain. I like to use my death is certain. Principle number one. Principle number two, the time of my death is uncertain. Uh-oh. Third one, when I die, nothing but my Dharma helps, right? Again, the words are death is certain. The time of death is uncertain. When death comes, only the Dharma helps. But those English words, you leave them on the surface like that, yeah, right? We can leave it at arm's length, which is why I like to make it personal. My death is certain. I don't know when it's going to happen. And when I die, nothing but my Dharma practice helps. So we need to get there in this class, is these last two. The first one, my death is certain. Those three reasonings to use. The first one you recall, the words are, the Lord of Death is unstoppable. Meaning, when you are ripening your seeds of dying, there's nothing, no one that can stop it. It can look like you're ripening your seeds of dying, but in fact, what you're ripening is your seeds to have a heart attack stopped. You have the heart attack, you get the care, it gets stopped, you don't die. It looks like you are on track to dying and somebody stopped it. But that wasn't what was happening. How do we know? Because you didn't die. It's like, wait. So if you died, the Lord of Death is unstoppable. And if you didn't die, the Lord of Death was not involved. It's kind of, that doesn't sound so logical to me. That kind of sounds like, I want to go to Chinese food because I want to. It doesn't sound like logic, but we're supposed to cogitate on that. Then the second one, that hourglass, we can't add time to life. It's not really a new and different idea. It's, if we could add time, nobody would be 71 years old, right? We'd all be 25 or 32 forever, because we would just keep adding time and you just stay there. Then third one, there's never enough time anyway. Never enough time to do what we intend to do. I still haven't quite realized what they mean. I understand there's never enough time, but I don't quite understand how that proves the my death is certain. Anyway, second principle. So we're on to this class. Second principle, the time of my death is uncertain. So there are three reasonings to consider. The first one, oh, I need the screen share. Just bigger. So my death is certain. Why do you say that? Because Zamling Semanye. Zamling is short for Zambuling, which is the name of our continent. In Mount Meru and the four continents, we're the southern continent called Zambuling, because the trees that live on the end of Zambuling's ocean drop their fruit into the water and they go Zambu. So with a whole continent gets that name. Here on Zambuling. So this is one of the reasonings to consider to show ourselves that the time of our death is uncertain. It's a mayingak. It's like you're saying one thing and it's implying something else. So the implication is that in other places, beings' lifespans are certain, meaning they know how long they live. Like everybody lives 500 years in this other continent. And, I don't know. This is an omniscient being telling us stuff. I don't have any way to confirm it. But there are other places where beings, once they show up there, to show up there, wait, I've lost you. There, you're back. To show up in that place, the karma to show up there is just this much karma for this much time. And everybody knows it. So it would be a whole different state of mind, wouldn't it? To just know from the instant you're born that you've got 75 years. The life would be so different if we knew that. But here on our planet, hello, come back. Here on our planet, we don't know that. Our experience is we expect the ones who are born first should die first, right? The older ones should be dying, not the younger ones. But that isn't what happens. Old people do die. Young people do die. Kind people die young, kind people die old. Icky people die young. Icky people die young, icky people die old. It seems random, right? You're out to lunch with somebody And the next thing so and so died. Wait, I just saw them. Like, as if there's any guarantee for any of us at any moment. That's the point here. We think that because we've lived as long as we have, we're gonna live that long again, I guess. It's really irrational. Mm. They explain that the karma for human enzambuling is a karma that fluctuates. Again, kind of implies that there are places where karma doesn't fluctuate like ours does. This fluctuation, what they mean by that, though, is that fluctuation in the average lifespans, right, of the whole batch of us. The 80,000 down to 10 and back up based on, come back, the 80,000 down to 10 and back to 80,000 based on the level of virtue of the individuals, right? All the individuals' level of virtue makes a kind of a group virtue level, and that's reflected in the average lifespans. The morality, the level of morality. Just Kappa points out that on a day-to-day level as well, this karmic fluctuation contributes to this apparent randomness of death. It's not that our lifespan is predetermined. Well, it sort of is, but it's not like when you're born, in the heavens, somewhere it's imprinted, Sarani will die on November 10th, 2035. And it's just kept secret from me. It's not like that. But there is a certain amount of karma for this life, certain power or certain strength, or I don't know how to really quite describe it, that I'm using up as I go along. And in terms of how well my past me's have taken care of life in the past is inside the influence of how my seeds are ripening and how I'm behaving now is all impacting this lifespan that I have. It's impacting as well in the not being able to know how close I'm getting. Even if we have a terminal illness and the doctors say, so sorry, nothing we can do, we still don't know. Is it going to last 2 weeks or 6 months or 3 days? We don't know. There's something about our karma to be these humans with its such goodness and such not goodness, that this is the experience we have, right? Not because Buddha said so, but because it's part of how we created these very lives as humans, right? The perfect combination of suffering and not suffering to put us on a spiritual path to the end of the whole cycle for everybody. But again, it's past life behaviors more than this life behaviors that are contributing to this, what will end up being my lifespan, that I don't really know what it is until this one's done. So unfortunately, being kind in it will definitely impact our future lives. Here in Zambaling, lifespans are not fixed. Second reasoning is Chikyen Mangsun Kyen Yun. Chikyen Mangsun Kyen Yun. This Kyen means, sorry, Chikyen and Sunken. Chikyen means the things that can kill us. And Sunken means things that keep us alive. Mang and Yun. Mang means many. It kind of looks like many, right? If Mang means many and Yun means not many. So it's not really like many and not many, but Jung is few and Mang is many. So this is saying that the things that can kill us are many, and the things that keep us alive are very few. As the reasoning to show to ourselves that the time of my life is uncertain. All right, this one makes a lot of sense to me. Consider all the things that can kill me and consider the things that keep me alive. There's a whole lot more on the can kill me side than on the can keep me alive side, or that support my life. So Jetsun Kappa divides the things that can kill us into living ones and inanimate ones. So living ones that can kill us, wild animals, not wild animals, animals, other people, viruses, bacteria, parasites, right? All that kind of stuff. That is living stuff. And they can have their effect on these physical bodies that can be fatal. And then inanimate things that can kill us. There are those that are outside of us, meaning outside of our physical body, and those that are inside of our physical body. Those inanimate things that are outside of our physical body that can kill us is just about anything. So the obvious ones, guns, knives, weapons, but so can the ladder that you use to get up on your roof, right? You fall off it. And we would say, oh, the ladder, right? The ladder rung broke and down I went and I cracked my neck and that, right? Anything, just about anything, our car can kill us. Now, technically, right, we know highest worldview, none of those things actually do the killing. It's our own having used something to kill somebody else that makes some outer factor and agent in what happens. But this is from Abhidharma school. Ladders exist. They have their own causes and conditions, so they don't exist self-existently. That would be absurd. But there are ladders, and ladders function in a certain way. And when they malfunction, we can get hurt. We can get killed. So when you really think about it, anything could be the agent that sets in motion some situation that we don't survive. Then the elements that are inside of us, he's pointing out, are those four basic building blocks of physical matter: earth, water, fire, and wind. We've spoken about those before. They're names of energies that make up our physical body and its function. Earth referring to our solidity, our form and structure. The water referring to the moisture and fluidity, the parts of us that are wet. Fire is the element of metabolism, temperature. And wind is the element of movement and dissipation. So these four elements are in this constant flux within our system. They interact with each other in response to our outer circumstances and in response to their own response, so that each one has a job to keep the others in check, and it has the job to do its own job. So each one supports another element and overrides a different element. And each one is doing that in such a way that they're all in this constant dance. And the quality or the relative amount and function of each one of those five, the state that they are all in, determines like how we're feeling, how we're functioning at any given moment. But they're all struggling with each other in the sense that each one is trying to be the only one. I don't agree with this explanation, but when this system of keeping each other in check fails, one of them will go off unchecked. And when any one of them functions unchecked, that's incompatible with life. So you can die of too much fire. You get a fever of 106, you don't live very long. You can die of too much water. You can die of not enough water. You can die of not enough earth. Right? It's like when they get significantly out of balance, that won't sustain life. So these four elements, although they are the process of this body being alive, they are actually involved in our death as well. Okay, and at any moment, you don't know when their ability to stay in this delicate, intricate dance together will fail. And when it does, wait, we can't sustain these bodies. So in a way, those four elements is what makes up this physical body. And so they say, look, if no outside other living being gets you, and no outside inanimate thing gets you, your own body's going to get you. Right? Because this delicate dance of the four elements is eventually going to give out. So there's nothing we can say couldn't be the cause of our death. And we don't know when, right? We don't know the factors that are happening because we don't know what karmic seed is going to ripen out of our karmic pocket at any given moment. Because in Zambaling Zemanye, lifespans are uncertain. All right. Then Jetsun Kappa also says in his text, remember, we are at the end of one of those kalpic cycles where lifespans are decreasing. Like due to our own past non-virtues, in this lifespan where times are going towards shorter lifespans, the way that manifests is that the things, these outer things that can kill us, get more and more powerful. The few things that can support us get less and less able to support us. So the few things that support us is food, air, water, shelter. within shelter is clothing. We learned, right? Hope sustains us, contact sustains us, right? But compared to all those other things that can kill us, not so many things sustain us. We could put, herbs and medicines and that sort of thing also in what sustains us, vitamins, etc., from this school's level. And then what he says is that when we are in this time of degeneration, that's characterized by the fact that those things that are supposed to sustain life are losing their power to do so. So even in his time, he was pointing out the foods we grow are not as nutritious as they were when lifespans were 1,000, when lifespans were 10,000. Our food is not as nutritious. Herbs and medicines are not as powerful in their healing ability. Water is not as pure. Air is not as pure. And we've seen, right, in my own lifetime, I've seen that all apparently worsen, according to what I read. Can't really say from my personal experience. My death is certain. The time of my death is uncertain. Right? We're living under a belief that, oh, no, I can get medicine. Oh, no, I can get care. Oh, no, if I just exercise, right, I'll be protected. If I drive carefully, I'll be protected. And it can be useful to do those things, but those things in and of themselves are not protective. All right. The third consideration to show ourselves the time of my death is certain. Lu Shintu Nyamchung. We know the word Shintu, it means really or extremely. Lu means body. Nyamchung means fragile and delicate. Like Nyam is fragile, Chung is delicate. Seems redundant, but they're wanting to drive home how very fragile these things are. Not like how very fragile life is, whether you call it this thing or not. Our bodies, no, I'm sorry, it is our body we're talking about here. Our physical bodies are extraordinarily delicate and fragile. And I don't know, we don't think so, do we? Till you get a certain age. The reasoning Jetsun Kappa points out, or a way to consider this, is to look at things that could cause death can be as apparently minuscule as a thorn in your foot, you're walking along barefoot and you feel the prick and you pull out the thorn and you get a little bit of blood and it's like, oh, well. And the next day, well, that hurts a little bit there. And the next day it's sort of red. And the next day you've got streaks. And the next day you've got fever. And the next day you go to the doctor and they go, oh my gosh, you've got that MRSA bacteria. We'll put you on bazillion antibiotics, but we're so sorry your bacteria is resistant, right? Day later, you're dead. That fellow Jim Henson of the Muppets comes to mind. He was only in his 50s. He gets a pneumonia everybody gets pneumonia from time to time. You go for antibiotics and he was dead the next day. It's just, it can go so fast from some minuscule, somebody coughed on him, and he picks up that organism and his body couldn't fight it. And so our bodies are so fragile. And the conclusion isn't to go live in a glass box, but the conclusion we're getting to, they want us to be like, oh man, am I really gonna survive today? They want us to wonder, not to scare us, but to motivate us. We just haven't gotten there yet. They point out that these physical bodies, that if we block these 3 orifices for only 4 minutes, this body will die. That's how close we are to the end of life at any given moment. Geshe-la said, it's really amazing that any of us are still alive. And when I wrote my notes for this the first time, I have written down 53 years old. And it's like, I'm 71 now. So it's like, wow, that long ago, I wrote these notes and started teaching these classes. And I thought it was amazing. I was 53 at the time. Now, like, extraordinarily amazing that almost 20 years later, I'm still here. Whereas back then, I didn't even give it a thought. Of course I'd be here 20 years from now. And now it's like, I can't really say, of course I'll be here 20 years from now, right? That'd be in my 90s. Not guaranteed. So every time we wake up in the morning, it's a miracle. And I love, there's it's been published, the prayer His Holiness the Dalai Lama supposedly says every time he wakes up. And it's like, wow, I woke up. I have another day where I can, try to help people. I forget how it goes. It's a beautiful prayer. But it starts with this, wow, I woke up. And I don't know about you, but I will wake up and I go, oh, I check in and my body hurts and it's still tired. And it's like, I gotta get out of bed, instead of, wow, it's another day, right? Another miracle that we have. I try, doesn't work. Okay, so third principle. When we die, nothing but the Dharma helps. And it sounds like, put the Heart Sutra on my chest as I'm dying and that will help me. But that's not what it means, of course. It means that the Dharma taught us stuff that we put into our consciousness, we put into our mind. Everybody frozen again. And what's going to go on with us, go on as us, technically. And so what we learned from our Dharma study and practices, it is the only thing that can help us at death. Is it going to save our life? if our seeds for dying is already happening, no. But as we'll see, it's what guides us in the seed planting so that it saves us in the sense that the seeds we put in, guided by our Dharma training, are all seeds, any one of which can be the projecting karma, and we'll be okay. Right? We'll have a next life that will help us move along our path. The circumstances will be okay. Will they be perfect? No, there's no such thing as perfect circumstances. Every perfect circumstance is exactly what's ripening at the moment, the opportunity to plant new. So it will be perfect in that sense. Probably not perfect in what you might want, but perfect in what we need. Only our Dharma training teaches us what to take up and what to give up so that we can fill our minds with the karmic seeds that will carry us along on our path from lifetime to lifetime, right? This school is not talking about reaching your Buddhahood in this lifetime, but the same principle applies. Right? Clearly, only the Dharma can help us do that. So when I die, only the Dharma can help, meaning only my Dharma practices will help. So there are 3 reasonings to help us get to the depth of the meaning of that principle. Look how good your Tibetan's going. You can read that, right? Your people can't help you. I don't have it in Tibetan, but I wanted to write it down. So when I die, nothing but the Dharma will help. Why do you say that? Because number one, when your people can't help you, and we think that they can, right? So, consider, oh, this is too close to home. I'm sorry, Pia. Consider the old guy, he's on his deathbed. The family's all around holding his hand. Oh, Father, please don't go. I don't know that people do that anymore. Like, we don't beg them to stay so much, but we wish that they could, right? No, please don't go. Please don't go. He can't not go. It's not his choice that he's dying. Nobody would choose to die, I don't think. He's not able to choose. Probably at that point, he's not even able to be aware of you as his family anymore, because his process is moving so swiftly in this direction of the mind, not the body is breaking down such that the mind's relation to it is so different than what it was before the dying process actually happened. So from our side, they still seem like they're there, but from their side, their awareness is like totally colored with this breakdown of the elements. And they're going through this process of hallucinations that sort of start from the outside and work their way in as these outer factors fall away. So they might still hear voices, but they're already beyond the state of recognizing you as their family or them in their home, right? We still see them there, but they're past that already. The people that have been attending and loving, and they can't help us. They can't help us as we're dying. It doesn't mean, okay, let them go, I'll go play tennis. It does not mean that at all. It means from our side, the dying person's side, we want to consider, right? If we think having the person there by our side patting our hand is going to make death nicer, we will be sorely disappointed. The people, we don't take them with us either. When we're in our shift to Bardo and then next life, even if we were somehow miraculously to get reborn into that same group of people, we don't remember. It's very rare to remember past lives. There, you're gone again. It's very rare for people to remember past lives for little ones. Yet, when we are alive and with our people, our relationships are such that we do things on behalf of all those people. We do kind things on behalf of those people, but we also do unkind things to other people on behalf of our close people, right? We're willing to do what we have to do to take care of our people because our people are the most important people. And those things that we do on behalf of our people are seeds that are planted in our minds. And those seeds go with us. The people do not. So it kind of reminds me of, that Jewish mother syndrome, right? After all I've done for you, you treat me like that. It's sort of a characterization of the Jewish grandma, which I don't know any Jewish. My goodness, I keep losing you. The point here is not that. The point is not that people can't help. The point is that what we do on behalf of those people goes with us, the people do not. So when I die, nothing but the Dharma can help me. Is shown, its power is shown by recognizing that all what I do on behalf of other people is would it help my internet if I shut my video off? Might it make it more stable for you? Let me try that. Do you mind just
I
listening?
think, yeah, teacher, you can try that so that the data, the bandwidth will be reduced, then it will be more stable.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop share. Let me stop my video. Okay, let's try that. But now somebody has to stay on video because that's how I tell whether I'm blanking out is, right? You freeze. So I'm watching carefully. So the point, my death is certain. How do I know that? Because my people can't help. We need to take that deeper. How does Dharma help me when my people can't help me? It's because Dharma teaches me don't ever do a non-virtue on behalf of helping somebody you love. Ouch. Because you plant the seed for the non-virtue and that goes with you. The person you love doesn't go with you. Doesn't mean don't love people. It means do kind things on behalf of those people so that we have seeds in our mind that do go with us, even though the person does not. Number one. Second consideration. When I die, none of my stuff can help me. You would think this would be the first one. but it's the second one. We talked about before. Oh, you know what? Let's stop. Let's take a break here. Break time. Then do that. Share, pause. Okay. Recording. Okay, we're talking about the second reasoning in the third principle. Third principle, when I die, nothing but my Dharma practice will help me. Why do I say that? Because my people can't help, my stuff can't help me. So again, we surround ourselves with stuff. We need stuff to stay comfortable. We accumulate stuff, we have stuff. And we have stuff that's important to us, and we have stuff that's not so important to us. Anybody feeling that burden? And then of the stuff that's important to us, we believe that it has some importantness in it that we want somebody else to appreciate and then to take care of. It's something that needs to be taken care of. We think having those things around us will, I don't know, somehow influence us or comfort us or keep us from dying irrational. But then when we are starting into the dying process, we're concerned about that stuff. And if you wait until you are involved in the dying process to think, oh my gosh, I wish my niece could have my mother's diamond ring, it's too late to do anything about it. But then when you're actually into the death process, when the Lord of Death has come, and you're going through these, they call them dissolutions, your awareness is shifting such that very quickly the information you're getting from eyes is shutting down. The information you're getting from ears, tactile, it's all shutting down. So that even if you're holding your mother's precious diamond ring in your hands, thinking it will give you some comfort as you die, very quickly, you are not even aware any longer of having hands holding mother's precious diamond, right? That's just gone from your ability to contact. And very swiftly after that, it's gone from your ability to even cognate my mother's diamond ring. The stuff can't help. And yet, as we're getting to that place of the withdrawal, we don't have contact with any of that stuff anymore. Yet we still have the mind movement that was clinging to having material things as our comfort. And now your mind can't contact any of those material things. So what it relied upon for comfort is not contactable. It's not in your awareness. It's gone. So if we rely, you've got your favorite blanket, you can't sleep unless you have your favorite blanket. And then suddenly you can't even be aware of whether you have your favorite blanket or not. But you still have the craving, the desire for whatever that feeling was that we called my favorite blanket. You still have that craving. You still have that wanting. You just can't call it, right? You don't know what it is. It's just so disorienting, they say. So if we're relying upon, having the perfect circumstance to lay down and die in, very quickly that perfect circumstance is beyond our contact. And it's not going to help us as we die. So to accumulate things, to have things, to rely upon things, they're just going to actually interfere with a peaceful dying because we've spent our lifetime doing karmas to get and keep those things as our source of comfort. And then in the end, they betray us. We don't get to take those things. But what do we take? The karmic seeds we made on behalf of accumulating them, getting them, keeping them, etc. Right? So how does my Dharma practice help me? It teaches me, don't do an unkindness to get or keep your stuff. Right? Give, share, help, right? In order to get and keep your stuff, you give it away. Wait a minute, I won't have my mother's diamond ring if I give it to the first person I pass. Well, don't give it to the first person you pass, give it to your niece now. Like I'm talking to myself. I haven't worn it in almost a year. Why is it in my jewelry box and not given to her? Right? If she wants it. I don't really know if she does. I would find that out first. Because maybe somebody else wants it who didn't even know my mother, right? It's just a diamond ring. So you get the idea. We have these attachments. Because of our attachments, we do things. We make karma. The karma goes with us. The stuff does not. Third reasoning for when I die, nothing but the Dharma will help me is not even our body goes with us. And it's like, duh, but there's a significance to digging into that. First of all, even as we recognize, oh yeah, I know my body won't go with me, we are still thinking that the me that we associate with this body is going to go on. We're thinking that there's this me personality, and that when I die, I lose everything around me, but my me goes into the bardo, and my me goes into the next birth. When we get more and more clear in these processes, we'll see that me that we're talking about here gets left behind also. Like our personality me, Sarani, gets left behind. The subject state of mind goes, but by the time it's into a certain place, moment of death, once the body is gone, with the body goes the personality. So by the time we get to the body dead, but the mind not even left yet, there's no Sarani in there anymore for the mind. It's something else entirely. And that's why it's so disorienting and scary, because if we're not familiar with this, not me, right? Not Sarani me, then it's like you don't know what you don't know. It becomes so unstable. But what does go on is all the karmic seeds that Sarani made on behalf of Sarani, taking care of this body, trying to get its needs met at the expense of others, mostly, right? The negative seeds, the selfishness seeds that we make. All the seeds go on. The body does not. The personality does not. But our moment by moment behavior is colored by, right? What's safe for Sarani? What does Sarani need? What does Sarani need? Even in terms of doing Dharma, right? It's like, what does Sarani need to do the Dharma to plant the seeds? It's still selfishly involved. And as long as our selfishly involved Dharma choices are guiding us to choose greater kindness, greater caring, greater sharing, then the seeds that go on with us will be helpful seeds to keep us going on our path in whatever the next life circumstances are going to be. It's the karmic seeds that go with us, not our people, not our stuff, and not our bodies and personalities. That's the purpose of the investigation. That's how we investigate to come to the realization that my Dharma practice is the only thing that can help me. But do you see the connection? Because the Dharma practice teaches us what behaviors to give up and what behaviors to take up within this lifetime, in relation to our people, in relation to our stuff, in relation to our own physical body and being, to plant seeds so that any one of which will be just fine if it's the one that projects our next lifetime. Only Dharma will help us in that way. Dharma being teachings that teach us about virtues, right? What's virtue, what's not? What is kindness and what's not? And so we can see how all the details that the ACI coursework give us is all building this picture of how to live life as a human in order to influence our death and lives beyond. And in the process, we become kinder and so theoretically happier people in this life, regardless of our circumstances. It won't matter so much to us whether we get the raise or don't get the raise, if, right, the situation of earning the raise gives me opportunities to be more and more helpful in my workspace with others, because the seeds I plant in my mind will be seeds I'll be happy to take with me when I go. All right. Geshe says, when we've trained ourselves to have virtuous instincts, avoid those 10 non-virtues, do the 10 virtues. When that's our instinct, it'll be our instinct as we're dying as well. By instinct, it means that we're so full of those virtue choosing seeds that it becomes just natural. And we have so many more virtue seeds in our mind that the likelihood of one of those going off at the moment of death is greater than one of the selfishness seeds, just because of numbers. And then because of that influence on our mind, that whole death process is also experienced differently, can be experienced differently. And whereas ordinarily it's chaotic and disruptive when the mind no longer is tethered by the functioning of the brain, if we have nothing but virtue seeds, that same situation doesn't have to be experienced as unpleasant, right? Same chaos, but not unpleasant. It's hard to grapple with. That we could even learn to transform that very process into the one that will take you to your enlightened being. Not directly through a bardo, and that's the process of the Diamond Way. Wait, I lost you again. I guess it wasn't. Are you back? All right. Okay, so we've got our 3 principles to to gain that deep realization of our own impermanence. Our own impermanence. My death is certain. My death is certain. The time of my death is uncertain. When I die, nothing but my Dharma practice will help me. Jetsun Kappa goes on to say, so when you've got that realization, you will pretty naturally come up with these 3 resolutions. And the 3 resolutions relate to each of the 3 principles. Knowing that my death is certain. I really want to start my Dharma practice seriously. Like now I see that the Dharma teachings really can help me in this way, to plant, what to not plant. By starting my Dharma practice, that means renunciation, bodhicitta, correct worldview. Understanding suffering, that it is and where it comes from. Generating compassion, learning about emptiness and karma. Right? Everything else fits in these 3 categories. Second principle, knowing that the time of my death is uncertain. Man, I want to devote myself to Dharma only. I want to quit my worldly work and devote myself to my Dharma practice now, immediately. It sounds like, we're going to quit work, leave our families, right? Get divorced, go live in a cave somewhere. But that's not what it means. It's a state of mind. It's an attitude. Lost you again. Hello, come back. Hello, come back. Hello, come back. Okay, it's an attitude. I'm so sorry about this. We're wanting to quit our worldly attitude towards our people, towards our things, towards our jobs. Change our reason for taking care of those things. Change our reason for supporting our families through our work life. Change our work life from work life to my Dharma laboratory. Work life is our perfect Dharma laboratory. Our interaction with others is how we plant our seeds. So it is our Dharma practice. It's our state of mind. We're wanting to grow this color of our lenses as we're interacting with everything. This is my Dharma arena. Right? This is where I'm planting my seeds. So it's meaning quit our worldly attitude and our worldly priorities. Not quit life. Like Geshe said to his students, just try, to go live in the forest on your own. You'll be back in 5 days. And apparently somebody did it. They moved out of their apartment and went and lived under a bridge, and it only lasted a week, and they were looking for another apartment. I can't imagine, but that's not what Dharma is about. And technically the Diamond Way Dharma was meant for busy people, right? It was taught originally to the kings and the administrators who were the ones in charge of taking care of people. Because imagine if you're the king, the karmas you're planting moment by moment, you're in charge of everybody. So your karmas are huge, everything you plant. And so to run a kingdom based on dharma, you'd be quite a different king than to run a kingdom based on personal gain. It would be quite different. Geshe-la went on to say, in terms of this, I want to quit my worldly life and do dharma immediately. He said the way one might orchestrate that is that, if you're looking for a career, he said, and you have trouble with, or not trouble, it's like you have vanity, right? You care a lot about what you look like. Then you might want to take up a career where you help others look beautiful. So if you yourself are a vain person, that's something that you would be working with karmically. Put yourself in a position where you make other people beautiful, right? And what's going to happen? Karmically, right? That beauty is going to come back. You're going to see beauty all around you. You're going to see beauty. If you have a problem with pride, put yourself in a position where you have to serve people. It's the last thing you would want to do. You want to be the one in charge. But if you want a Dharma laboratory career, choose one that makes you override your personal main mental affliction every day at your workspace. If you're already in a career, see where your own personal favorite mental affliction is coloring your input, and use your interactions with others to do the opposite of that mental affliction, right? It's the perfect arena. He says any other reason for working is meaningless, because technically we say I'm working to earn money to support my family. Technically, your work is not where the money comes from, is it? Right? It doesn't mean quit work and expect money to show up in your bank account, but the two really are not related in the way that we think. Third resolution, since nothing else can help me, I will devote myself solely to my Dharma practice. And again, it sounds like, oh, I'm going to give everything else up and I'm going to study and meditate and do retreat and my family's on its own. And again, that's not what it means here. It means that as we are reprioritizing our worldly lives through our attitude, we are designing our life to include the time we need to study, the time we need to meditate daily, and the time we need to get into retreat. None of that happens without the karmic ripening for it to happen. And so if we were just starting in our Dharma careers and we could step in like knowing everything that we need to do from the beginning, then what we might do would be to spend the first year doing a 4 steps, for each one of those pieces. Who is it that wants more time to study? How can I help them get the time to study? Who is it that wants to learn to meditate? How can I help them learn to meditate? Who is it that wants the time to go on retreat? How can I help people get into retreat? And don't worry about your own practice at all. Just, right, if we really knew, we'd set it up at the beginning of our Dharma career to plant the seeds so that when we turn to our family and said, you know, I need an hour in the morning to myself, your karmic seeds will ripen as they'll say, fine, right? We'll adjust our lives around you, right? It could happen, but it isn't how our Dharma practice tends to grow. We learn little bits at a time. And so it all happens a little bit more long-term and slow. But now, even looking back, if there is a place in our life where I can't possibly imagine getting time to go and do a 2-week retreat by myself, then start planting the seeds now to see a life, either later in this one or next life, be one in which retreat time is built in. You know, so it's like everybody takes a month off twice a year to go do deep retreat. It's like built in to society. It won't happen by itself. It gets created. So our priorities for our seed planting grows into this attitude of like, I'm planting constantly. More interested in the planting than we are in the result. That's the purpose of these 3 resolutions. Life circumstances don't need to change. We don't need to change our jobs. We don't need to switch friends necessarily. We switch our attitude, our own attitude. And that's what it is to be a Dharma practitioner. Frozen again. Are we back yet? Okay, so then lastly, in all of this, then our minds are gonna say, well, if all that's true, then what's the highest Dharma? I just want the highest Dharma. And you remember in the practice module, right? I love that image. You're in the turret room, you've gained these 3 like resolutions, and you turn and go, I want the highest Dharma. And you point your stick to that peacock blue door, that the highest Dharma is exchanging self and others. But here in this class, Geshe-la shares the key factor, or like the one highest thing to devote ourselves to with these 3 realizations, is this idea namdak, N-A-M-D-A-K, namdak. Namdak is the practice of seeing the whole world as something pure. It's a high holy practice. It's difficult. It means every, okay, on one level, it means every moment and every experience is exactly what we personally need to become the one who will help others stop their suffering forever. Like every moment is exactly right. That's one way of seeing it as pure. How is that true? Well, every moment is my own ripening. Can't be any other way. Every moment, pleasant or unpleasant. If it's unpleasant, I'm burning it off. If it's pleasant, an opportunity to share it. There's nothing else we need to do. Burn off unpleasant, share pleasant. On a deeper level of understanding, if there are Buddhas, fully enlightened beings, omniscient, the omniscience is ripening results of their huge merit made through their love and their compassion that was propelled by their understanding of the empty nature of subject objects and interactions between, then those omniscient beings' love is manifesting as exactly what I need at any given moment to show me what to give up and what to take up. Because that's all a Buddha can do for anybody, is to guide, teach, inspire. Can't make us do it. So if that's true, then everything that I am experiencing is a Buddha's emanation, there to help me. And I'm the dunce that can only see it as, you know, the person driving too fast. I'm the one who makes that judgment of what I see is really what it is. I can also learn to make the judgment, it looks like that to me. My seeds are making that nature be that. But its nature from its side is blank, empty, could be an emanation. Not just could be, it must be. So it must be for my benefit. And how would it benefit me if I would just care? Maybe the person driving too fast has an emergency at home. No, maybe they are just driving too fast, but may they be safe instead of, why are you driving too fast? Right? Just my attitude in my reaction to things, to see things as pure, right? On another level. Oh, it's a Buddha's emanation looking like that ficus tree, looking like that nasty person, looking like that beautiful blue sky, right? And walk around in the arms of enlightened beings because they're everywhere. It can grow into, well, I'm an emanation for you. So can I be Buddha's emanation for you? And you see how dangerous that is. Because we could convince ourselves, yeah, I'm a Buddha's emanation for everybody. So that means I can do no wrong. Wrong, right? It'd be true. You could not do anything wrong when you are a Buddha's emanation, because whatever you do is exactly what the other person needs. But when we're doing this as a practice, it means then me for them is like this emanation of love, emanation of compassion. How can I help them? How can I support them? It really dangerous, but powerful. They are exactly what I need, and I am exactly what they need. And as a result, let's all be kind, right? Let's love each other. Let's help each other. What a different world it would be to see the world as pure, right? Different levels of that practice. So ideally, that's where a death meditation realization will take us. From, oh my gosh, I want every moment to be Dharma, to, oh my gosh, I want every moment to be walking amongst emanations of Buddhas. No matter what it appears to be, to me, right? Within the empty nature of all those me's and others is this purity through which I can interact. If it seems unpleasant, just burn it off. if it's pleasant, share it. And that's really all we need to do. Okay. Okay. All right. Class. Course 8. Class 10, done. Well done, everyone. So you'll be teachers next class. And then I am so sorry for pushing us into course 9 so fast, but I want to get us done before the July's 5 houses. And then we'll be gone for all of August. So you'll get 6 weeks. Sorry to do that to you again also. But in that 6 weeks, please go back into this course. And of all the meditations that we did, this death meditation is the most important. Please spend some time with it. The next course is going to be the Vinaya, which is mostly lists about vows. And we can see why it comes next, because now that we know more about our suffering world, and we know that it's all created purely by ignorance and selfishness, and even we know that even our ability to change our behavior to less selfishness and less ignorance is also pushed by virtue, by kindness. The more we can learn about how to gather greater goodness, the better. So we learn about ethical life through learning about the vows and the processes. So it's not so philosophically challenging as it's just lists and learning. So even still, the death meditation, this would be a good time to drive that home if you don't have anything else that you are waiting to work on. Right, so, but we'll talk about it before I leave you in July. So then that said, for the class 9, because I sprung it on you, if you have other things in life that are pressing and you can't get your homework done in between each class, I'm okay with, right, you letting it accumulate, but it's dangerous, right? You don't want to leave the whole thing to do on your own. Try, but if you can't get your homework done before class, don't worry, right? Do the best you can. Okay, so done. Remember that being we wanted to be able to help at the beginning of class. We've done more than you think to set in motion the end of their suffering someday, and that's an extraordinary goodness. So please, please be happy with yourself. And think of this goodness like a beautiful glowing gemstone that you can hold in your hands. Recall your own precious holy guide. See how happy they are with you. Feel your gratitude to them, your reliance upon them. Ask them to please, please stay close, to continue to guide you, help you, inspire you. And then offer them this gemstone of goodness. See them accept it and bless it. And they carry it with them right back into your heart. See them there, feel them there. Their love, their compassion, their wisdom. It feels so good. We want to keep it forever. And so we know to share it. by the power of the goodness that we've just done. May all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom may. So use those 3 long exhales to share this goodness with that one person. To share it with everyone you love. To share it with every existing being everywhere. See them all filled with loving kindness. Filled with the wisdom. And may it be so. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank
I
you.
apologize again for the rough internet. Okay,
Thank
see you
teacher.
on Friday, right? Friday.
Can you stay here?
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. Okay, I'm stopping the recording. Yes.